We're here on the Boss booth at the NAMM show with Jeff, who's going to show us the tube amp expander. And there's a lot more to this than meets the eye, because it's a dummy load, but it's not just a dummy load, and it's a way of DIing a guitar, but it's not just a way of DIing a guitar. And there's an amplifier in there.
Yes.
So what is this thing?
This thing's a little bit of everything. So first off, it's a reactive load, not just a straight dummy load.
Yeah.
Classically, the dummy loads just drew the ohmage off, drew the power off, but they weren't interacting with the actual tube amplifier itself. Your speaker is part of the circuit, and it's part of the tone of the tubes and everything that's going on inside there. So this is a reactive load, but not just a simple basic reactive load. There are several that are out there right now, but our reactive load, we've got 16 variations of it. So, a 112 Deluxe reactive load is different than a 412 Deluxe, with greenback 25. So you want to have all these different loads for, even if you're just using this thing as part of your straight DI recording, right through your IRs or something like that, you can match the impedance and loading and interaction of your tube amp so that it matches the tone of the cabinet that you're coming out of. And if that was all it did, that would already be pretty amazing, but there's so much more, right? As you just said, it keeps going. There's gifts for days. First off, there's a reverb on it. Now, the reverb, what it allows you to do is add reverb not only to your recording output or to your PA system, it actually goes to the live physical cabinet. That's why there's a power amp inside of it, right? So there's a clean linear power amp. We take all the fun and the interest and all the dynamics and the cool stuff from your amp when it's dimed and pegged at 10 and doing all that stuff that we as guitar players like, and it's taking that all in, and then we run it through through a power amp. So it gives us continuous control, so you can go down to nearly no volume at all. You can even take smaller amps and make them bigger, right? Because we have a 100-watt amp in here, so if you got a classic little 5 or 10-watt amp that you really like the tone of, you can go ahead and pump it up a little bit. Even classic amps, like the other day I was playing through an AC30, and having that little extra scoot on it was really quite nice. So there's a reverb on there we can add at any point in time to either the house or to the internal speaker cabinet. There's a compressor built inside of it. There's delays built inside of it, right? Which again, they go to the speaker and to the DI out. Along with that, I can add an effects loop to an amp. How many of us have had a classic, old head, right? That we wanted that effects loop experience on the thing. Went and had a friend modify it, or I know a guy who knows a guy who can modify it, and all of a sudden it never sounds the same again. Exactly, right? So you can put it on any amplifier and add that to those amps. Along with the effects loop, their ability, we have internally there's a constant EQ, which you can use for like a solo boost. So imagine taking that classic amp that you have. First off, you can't play it loud enough anymore. Now you can. And second off, it didn't have reverb effects and effects loop, but now I can hit a button and make it a solo boost, right? And get louder in the mix when I need to take that riff and go. So it's a totally awesome experience to have all those things. And along with that, of course, there's outputs. There's stereo XLR outs, because the post effects are stereo, which is so you can record in the glorious sound. Those effects go also out of mono out for front of house, which is great for the live performer. And in addition to that, you have USB for just taking the thing straight into your DAW, so it can act as an audio interface.
So it's just as good in the studio as it is live, of course.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the great things about this, is that so many guitar players today, we have this thing that we do in the studio that isn't the same as we do on the stage, which isn't the same as I have in the other room where I play for myself and with my or with my band. So there's all these competing elements, and what I love about this is that you can incorporate it into your real rig, and then just take your real rig to the stage, take it to your home, take it to the studio, and it's always going to work the same and get that same tone and experience in all scenarios.
Excellent. So let's listen to a few examples.
Okay. So let me give you a little quick rig rundown on what we actually have going on here. We have a Friedman amplifier, a Runt 50. Thank you, Dave Friedman, for loaning this amp. It's an awesome amp. What we're doing with this is we're running it into the tube amp expander. Now, if you get a good close-up on that, you'll notice that the master volume is on 10. Why? Because the power amp section is really where you get that good classic tone, and we want to really push this thing into drive, but not kill ourselves and make ourselves deaf. So we're going through that guy, comes back into here, and then I can control the volume to the live speaker cabinet. The effects are going to the live speaker cabinet, and then in addition I have the line out, which is going straight to the camera, so you have a little bit of both and you can blend either or, right? What you do see on top here is an optional GAFC foot controller, which will allow you to incorporate this into your rig and be able to switch effects on and off, choose between the 10 different presets, and of course we have MIDI, so we can use that as well. And back here I have a MD500, so when I show you that it has an effects loop, I can turn on an effect in the back here. So let me just start off with giving a good groove with this thing dimed. Nothing fancy going on, just good tone. Now let me add a little bit of a reverb to it. Let's add a little bit of delay to that. And how about let's give it a little solo boost at the same time. And now let's switch with this amp control and tell the amplifier to go to its clean channel and make it a little pretty. Let's make it a little bit more pretty. Let's go ahead and kick in that MD500 that's in the effects loop and play a little of the same thing. All these effects and things that we're turning on and off not only affect the studio monitors, but they're also affecting the live amp as well.
Okay, Jeff, so when can we buy one of these? I know they're very popular. And what's the pricing going to be?
So these will be available in about May. And so it's a couple more months until they're out there, but they're in production. We're really excited about this. There's been a big outpour for them, so you'll want to get one soon, right? And they're going to be $12.99.
Sounds good. Thanks very much.
Thank you.